welcome back. Well, today on the Morning Blend, we are helping you prepare for your future, and now we are turning to a doctor to talk about the future of our healthcare.
And Dr. Michael Austin is here to talk about what functional medicine is and how we can benefit from it. Doctor, thank you for joining us again.
You're welcome. Thanks.
So, functional medicine. Now, today we're going to kind of dive into almost the science or the background of it, right?
Right.
Where would we start learning about this?
Well, I think a brief comparison to where Western medicine, you would go to a physician and they would take a history. Based on what their findings are in the history, they would refer you to a specialist, typically. So there's a diagram that I brought in, a functional medicine tree. They sort of start in the middle of the tree trunk and they branch up in sending to the specialist. And functional medicine really starts at the root of problems, and it looks at the whole part of an individual, not just their disease. But how other factors, external and internal, affect the disease, and whether or not that expresses.
So when you say external factors, what do you mean by that?
It could be your lifestyle, the food that you eat, the water you drink, the vitamins that you take or don't take, the exercise or not, whether you meditate or not, stressors that are in your life. Your internal environment, your body, mind, and spirit, all of these things play a factor in how genes will express themselves, whether they become express more dysfunctional processes in the body or whether they're healthy processes in the body. It used to be that years ago when I was in school, they thought that the genes were running everything, but they've found now that really it's not that way. That the genes are just waiting for these outer nudges, I'll say, to express whatever the gene does. Like in metabolic pathways, which is a common core piece of functional medicine, they're usually looking at the gene expressing as an enzyme, particularly methylation pathways. Methylation pathways run everything in the body. You can see this graphic here, and this is a simplified version of what's going on inside. Wow. And this happens in every single cell of the body. So there's a particular enzyme, it's referred to as the MTHFR enzyme. It's methylene transferase hydrofolate reductase. Much easier to say MTHFR. So methylation, effectively what that does, it has a molecule, and there's either putting on or taking off a methyl group from the molecule. A methyl group looks like a carbon atom with 3 hydrogens on it, sort of like a little tripod. And that signals something to turn on or turn off. And it's part of an assembly line, or as you could see in that graphic, it's really more of a cyclic environment. But for simplification, we just say it's linear. So once the enzyme receives its methyl group, it will pass it on. So this happens with the MTHFR, the common occurrences with the B12 vitamin, for example. Some people that don't have the proper functioning MTHFR enzyme can't methylate B12. And it creates a logjam in that cycle. So they have this pileup of B12 here, and everything downstream from that suffers from it. So the fix would be to take methylated B12. It's an over-the-counter supplement. But then if you have one genetic mutation like that, you are going to have issues downstream. So the way to really come at it is to work from downstream, clear the logjams downstream first, and then clear the methylation issue.
So what ailments would we possibly be dealing with, or symptoms we might be dealing with, that would kind of lead us to, okay, functional medicine is what I should be checking, or that could be a resolution?
Well, just the MTHFR enzyme has been implicated in, I have a list of 64 disorders.
Wow.
So it's really, really important. And that's just one enzyme. And there are thousands of enzymes in the body.
Wow.
So whatever it is that you're dealing with, you should definitely be checking if this is something that's compatible with you.
Oh, for sure. And it's something that medicine doesn't go into. Again, it's really nothing wrong with Western medicine. What they do is really good. But for more chronic conditions, Alzheimer's, rheumatoid arthritis, different kinds of cancers, autism, again, 40 some odd different disorders. They don't get down into the root. They tend to not to look at the genetic issues there or these other environmental factors, whether or not somebody's eating properly. And honestly, our Western diet, again, because these external factors drive the genes, if you're not eating properly, then it's there was an axiom in the computer world: garbage in, garbage out. It's the same thing with our cells, particularly for these methylation pathways. So and from a nutritional aspect, then looking at what you eat, most of a Western diet, the standard American diet, SAD, creates inflammation. And inflammation is one of those root factors in several disorders of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, osteoarthritis, a lot of pain disorders. You see on commercials, most of what is sold over the counter are anti-inflammatories. So inflammation is a huge business, but nobody really gets down to the root of the issue.
Well, exactly, doctor. And you have come and shared with us so much information. I have a feeling we could talk about this for hours and still not know
Absolutely.
everything there is to know.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we want to say thank you for coming on the show today. And
Thanks for having me.
We'll get to talk to you again in the future. Now, you want to make sure to act quickly because the first 3 new patients will receive a free DVD on autonomic body therapy. For more information, you can call 887-2428 or log on to drmichaelaustin.com.